Cold weather is still on the way to Texas. We've got winter mischief to deal with, but there have been changes to the forecast, and that will change some things for a few folks. Let's talk about it in this lunchtime Thursday update of the Texas Weather Roundup. Hi there, I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer. It is Thursday, the 22nd of January, 2026. It's going out about lunchtime. Want to talk about the latest as it comes to the Texas weather mischief expected this weekend. It's still going to get cold. We're still going to have precipitation, but some things have changed. We've seen a slower progression of the cold air, which has resulted in some timing elements being pushed back. And yes, that does have a few implications for accumulations, especially along the southern risk zone area. First off, things are going to continue to change. It could flip back, could flip farther away. Mama Nature don't care because forecasting winter weather in Texas is still difficult outside of 24 hours, even if the system's been showing up for a week. Please take a moment and hit that like button, and if you haven't already, click subscribe to stay up to date with the latest Texas weather information. All right, let's start off with the North American model. This is going to go from 6 p.m. Friday through the weekend. Now, we are going to have some showers already underway by early Friday afternoon, and the potential certainly exists that we'll have snow underway in the Panhandle, parts of West Texas, Northwest Texas by late Friday morning, early Friday afternoon. As we go through the night, we are expecting precipitation from round 1 to increase across a decent chunk of Texas. Now, a change we have had occur in overnight data is the cold front has slowed down. Specifically, the freezing line may hold closer to I-20 or maybe a bit north of I-20 tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, into Saturday morning. That would keep folks mainly along and south of I-20, especially in North Texas, the Concho Valley, above freezing. In fact, some data suggests we may have temperatures still in the 60s in the hill country at 6 a.m. Saturday. So the result would be round 1 mostly impacting in terms of sleet, snow, ice accumulations, Panhandle, West Texas, Texoma, the Big Country, and parts of North Texas, especially along and north of I-20. Again, it all depends where the freezing line sets up. But that would keep places like Austin, most of the hill country, south central Texas, a good chunk of the Concho Valley, southeast Texas and the Brazos Valley safely above freezing for most of Friday night into Saturday morning. In fact, it may end up being quite warm and muggy Saturday morning in several of those locations. We're still going to have rain. In fact, the risk of thunderstorms has increased now. We may actually have some decent thunderstorms now in parts of the hill country, south, central Texas, southeast Texas, Friday night into Saturday morning, and maybe even early Saturday afternoon. Some of those storms may have small hail and a lot of lightning. Going into Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, the cold front continues to push south. That freezing line moves southeast. Round 2 of precipitation arrives Saturday afternoon with an emphasis on Saturday evening, Saturday night, and Sunday morning. And that would bring a widespread area of winter precipitation, freezing rain, sleet, and snow to the Concho Valley, the Hill Country, Central Texas, the Brazos Valley, East Texas, parts of Southeast Texas, points north, especially along and north of Interstate 10. By along and north of Interstate 10, I mean San Antonio to Houston. I-10 is not going to be a happy place to be from Comfort, Kerrville, all the way to El Paso this weekend in terms of travel and precipitation. In fact, we may even have some sleet and freezing rain down in Del Rio. And then all the precipitation ends by Sunday afternoon, maybe a few snow flurries left, and then the cold air really kicks into gear here. So that is the latest on the precipitation timing. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, Baldy ma'am, what does that mean for accumulations? Well, here is the accumulation forecast. And to be completely transparent with the data source here, this is the Weather Prediction Center 50th percentile ice accumulation forecast, meaning this is what is currently expected. Could go higher if things go downhill. Could be lower if things improve or we have a different precipitation type. Regardless, what we are expecting here is quite a bit of ice across northeast Texas, North Texas. We could see ice accumulations of 1/4 to perhaps a ½ inch. That is significant enough, if it is in the form of freezing rain, to cause some tree damage and damage to the power infrastructure, meaning power outages could occur due to damage from an ice storm. And this risk right now is highest in North Texas, Northeast Texas, and again, the potential exists we could have ice accumulations closer to 3/4 of an inch in the Arklatex and parts of Northeast Texas. The potential for a damaging ice storm is apparent. Lower ice amounts in the parts of Central Texas, the Big Country, the Concho Valley. A trace to 1/4 of an inch. And again, it only takes 1/100th of an inch of ice on a bridge, overpass, or even a road to turn it into a skating rink. So we would expect travel impacts. Right now, the southern delineation of that ice line is north of Del Rio, northern Bexar County, northwest sides of Harris County, to near Jasper in the Golden Triangle in far east Texas. And again, this is for ice accumulation. Now, in terms of sleet and snow, the Panhandle is still set to receive 6 to 12 inches of snow. And it could be a little more than that in spots. So a big snowstorm. 6 to 12 inches of snow in a good chunk of the Panhandle. We could have a corridor of 8 to 14-inch snowfall amounts around I-40 up into western Oklahoma. Gusty winds at 35 miles an hour could create near blizzard conditions at times. The potential exists for snowfall amounts of maybe 4 to 8 inches west Texas, northwest Texas. That includes places like Lubbock to Wichita Falls. And then this is where sleet starts coming into play. This graphic also shows sleet accumulation, so sleet and snow. This is where parts of Texoma, North Texas, the Big Country, the Concho Valley, the Permian Basin. This is where we could see a ½ inch to maybe 2 to 3 inches of sleet accumulate. It's in that winter mix zone. We'd probably rather have that than freezing rain. Look, either or both are going to well, let's rephrase that so it makes sense. Both are going to make things slicker than bull snot. Sleet does not accumulate as easily on power lines and tree branches. Freezing rain does. That's what turns it into literal ice. Sleet creates that cobblestone ice, so things would be very slick, but it would have a less of a risk of trying to knock out the power. So, again, whether we're dealing with sleet, snow, or freezing rain, travel is going to be a no-go. Friday night and Saturday, Panhandle, West Texas, Northwest Texas, the Big Country, Texoma, North Texas. Going through Saturday afternoon into Saturday night and Sunday morning, travel conditions go downhill quickly. Northern Edwards Plateau, Permian Basin, Concho Valley, Hill Country, Central Texas, Brazos Valley, East Texas. And this could, at times, encroach on parts of the San Antonio and Houston metros. Though, again, since we trended a little warmer, that's pulled that a little north. We are still 2 days out, and in Saturday's case, we're still 3 days out. Things are still going to change. Make no mistake about it. Again, forecasting winter weather in Texas outside of 24 hours usually is a fool's gambit. So, deal with it as you may. There will be more changes. Yippee, yippee-ki-yay. Now, let's talk about temperatures, because it's still going to be very cold, and this is a serious issue on its own. Today, it's going to be in the 80s in the Rio Grande Valley, not cold. 70s, southern half of the state, 50s, northern half of the state. Tonight, teens in the Panhandle, 20s down to West Texas. Most everyone else is well above freezing, with 60s in the Brazos Valley, southeast Texas, South Texas. Could even be fog. Friday's high temperatures, mid to upper 80s South Texas. Enjoy that, right? 72 San Antonio, 67 Austin. You can see it's not getting out of the 20s in the Panhandle. And again, we're going to have to watch where the cold front makes it. So some folks may have high temperatures early Friday. Saturday morning, now, temperatures in the single digits with wind chills of 15 below 0 Fahrenheit. Panhandle, West Texas. We're in the teens and 20s. Permian Basin, Big Country, North Texas, Northeast Texas. We're going to have to see exactly where that freezing line sets up. We're going to have a pretty sharp transition between very cold air and above freezing air. So again, we're going to have to see where that sets up exactly. Saturday's high temperatures. And again, this is from 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. Saturday, meaning some folks may have high temperatures at 6:01 a.m. and then go downhill from there. 84 in McAllen. 7 in Pampa. Wind chills below zero. Panhandle, West Texas. Northern third of the state at least does not get above freezing. That freezing line and cold air will continue moving south during the day on Saturday. So we're going to have a flip cycle where high temperatures are probably going to be in the morning. And for at least, folks who start out in the 60s or 50s Saturday morning, it's going to go downhill from there, especially in the hill country, Brazos Valley, Central Texas. Now, here's Sunday morning. We're going to have lows down to near 10 degrees or below, all the way south through the hill country, the Concho Valley, Central Texas to North Texas. Lows in the single digits and teens. Below freezing, east of the Trans-Pecos, east of the Guadalupe Davis Mounds, and then below freezing until you get into South Texas. It'll stay above freezing Sunday morning in the Rio Grande Valley. Everyone else, it's going to be cold and below freezing. High temperatures on Sunday will not get above freezing if you are pretty much, let's do it this way. Unless you're in South Texas, out in the borderland, in the southern Big Bend, or maybe in the Golden Triangle near Beaumont, you're probably not getting above freezing on Sunday. Galveston, along the coast, okay, fine. And then South Texas, well, it may still be in the 50s. Everyone else along the north of I-10, don't bet on getting above freezing. If you do, it won't be for long. Monday morning, temperatures are going to be near or below zero in northwest Texas. We're going to have temperatures well down to the single digits into the hill country, Central Texas, the Brazos Valley, Northeast Texas, the Concho Valley, the Permian Basin. Wind chills near or below zero. This will be a night where the entire state of Texas has a freeze, even down in the Rio Grande Valley. Monday, high temperatures. We're looking better, right? We're back in the 40s in South Texas. We've got 40s into the hill country. We've got 40s in the borderland. Where we have a solid snow and ice pack, temperatures are going to struggle to climb Monday. So we may have some folks where we have the most snow and ice not get above freezing on Monday. Regardless, the sun will be out. We will have melting or evaporation. But whatever melts is going to turn to a block of ice the minute the sun goes down Monday, because temperatures Tuesday morning are going to be in the teens across a good chunk of the state. Teens, 20s, with 30s down in the Rio Grande Valley. Tuesday afternoon, 60s are back in deep South Texas. We're all above freezing Tuesday with highs in the 40s and 50s. We are all probably going to go below freezing again Tuesday night, but at least that will mark an end to the winter mischief. So, again, here's the ice forecast as we have it now. This will change. Don't nitpick the exact numbers, but we are concerned about an impactful ice storm with the possibility of some power outages and tree damage in Northeast Texas, East Texas, and North Texas, especially Friday night through Sunday morning. Impacts continuing through probably Tuesday. Here's your sleet and snow forecast, and again, parts of North Texas, the Big Country, Texoma. This is where we could have a mixture of freezing rain, changing over to sleet, and then eventually some folks may change over to snow. We may have a little ice in the Panhandle first, but that should be a pretty quick change over to snow. All right, so we are going to keep a very close eye on things through the day. We're going to have multiple updates. We're going to have a live briefing tonight. We'll do that at 8:30 p.m., so tune in to Texas Storm Chasers on YouTube, our website, and our mobile app. At 8:30 p.m. Central this evening, we'll have a live briefing, talk about the latest data, and we'll also have updates throughout the day. As a reminder, you can get your local weather forecast in the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. Just search for Texas Storm Chasers where you download apps for your device, and you can find us on the web, texasstormchasers.com. Thanks for tuning in. We'll keep you up to date with additional forecast updates and changes as needed. Y'all have a good Thursday. We'll talk to you soon. God bless.